visit NFLflag.com. J.J. McCarthy took the field for the first time yesterday since he would assumed to be the starter in Minnesota. He certainly is going to be under some pressure this season after Sam Darnold nearly took them to the NFC Championship, but McCarthy explained why he's ready for the moment.
Personally, I think the more pressure, the better for me, because, that's something I thrive off of. And, they always say the cliche, pressure is a privilege, but that's something that you sign up for when you play in the National Football League, especially at the quarterback position. And, I feel like pressure, all it does is just bring out what's inside of you. And, I feel pretty good about what's inside of me. That's where I feel most comfortable is when, the lights are the brightest, the stage is, the biggest stage out there. And, I know it's going to be a lot more of that to come.
Look, I want everything to go really well for J.J. McCarthy, so I just want to say that first and foremost. But let's say early on it doesn't. What happens then?
Well, I don't think anything off the top happens. If you think about this, Laura, they got a lot invested in him. They decided not to sign Sam Darnold back in this J.J. McCarthy show. And he's going to make mistakes. This is essentially his rookie year. Didn't play it all last year. So you can't expect a rookie to come in there and pick up things and be up to speed just yet. So he is going to struggle. You just got to continue to work at it rep after rep after rep. I think we all agree he's in a very good position with the weapons, the play caller. He should be in good shape, but even he is still going to struggle with all those weapons.
Yeah, Laura, I think he is in such a good spot in terms of what he has surrounding him, starting with the head coach and Kevin O'Connell, and then, having the kind of coaches and support that he has and the teammates that he has and the way in which he is wired internally. Think back to the days, of Jim Harbaugh coaching him at Michigan and the kind of things that Jim said about him, about what this young man is made up of and how he is wired. I think he is uniquely qualified to handle the pressure of having some ups and downs in his first season as a regular starter and being able to fight through it and letting all that talent shine through and elevating everybody around him. I can't wait to see him play. I don't think he's going to fail whatsoever.
I was thinking about this, and JJ is set up for success, and obviously we know what has happened in Minnesota with Sam Darnold leaving. And I'm gonna just throw this out there. I wonder would they explore a revisit with Kirk Cousins as a backup, just because of the history that they have. I know the money is a part of it, and I know all of that. But in case, because Boog brought up a great point. Boogie, you asked a great question. What if he does struggle and you have no one to go to? Is he ruined? Now, we have a lot of faith in Kevin O'Connell. We've seen what he's done with quarterbacks. But I just was wondering with the guys up here, would that be something worth potentially revisiting? Or do you think that would be too much pressure on J.J. McCarthy? I'll shoot that to you, RC, since you haven't commented on this.
Yeah, I think the big thing to me is you don't go back to Kirk Cousins because I don't believe Kirk Cousins can still play. And what you'd have to pay if the Atlanta Falcons don't pay part of that salary will be too much money for a backup. And on the other side of it, when you don't re-sign Sam Darnold, you tell J.J. McCarthy it's your show. So I don't believe you should be preparing to fail. No, we understand that you need solid backups in this league, but what you have with J.J. McCarthy to me is a marriage with no prenup. You had the prenuptial that you could put in place with Sam Darnold. You're now saying this is your show. And if it doesn't work, you get to take half. And J.J. McCarthy has the talent to be everything he needs to be in Minnesota. We've seen Kevin O'Connell work extremely well with a plethora of quarterbacks and bringing back Sam Darnold to get him an opportunity to be the starter in Seattle. I think J.J. McCarthy has the talent. Now it's going to be the patience to allow him to get comfortable in that position. And with all that talent around him, I expect him to have an extremely successful year, even if it doesn't start off great early.
Patience is such an important word in all this. And as you all know, there's something to be said for that confidence being shown to you by the organization. It's just real as a human being. It makes you feel better to know that they believe in you. But we're all saying that in the offseason. It'll be really interesting to see if we get somewhere into the actual meat of the season. Exactly. Okay, well, you said it, NFL Live. We are now a few days removed from the draft, but we've got some major quarterback question marks. What happens if there's no Rodgers in Pittsburgh? Can Tyler Shuck start day day one, and Matt Miller released his top 100 picks in the draft this year. Find out why his favorite pick of all landed in Chicago with Caleb Williams. Also, JJ McCarthy on the field for the first time as a starter. Find out why he says he's ready for the pressure of being the face of the franchise. A lot of quarterback talk in this show, okay? But we're going to also focus on defense winning championships, and that's why we have Marcus Spears and Louis Riddick here. We're also going to be joined by Ryan Clark, Booger McFarland a little bit later on, so don't worry. The defense is well represented, you guys. Did I miss the wave swag? Oh, there it is. Oh, okay, thank you. You're on mute, but we read your lips. You said, Boogie, there's the wave. We're going to begin with some news, though, you guys. The NFL fined the Falcons $250,000 and defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich $100,000 for failing to prevent the disclosure of confidential information distributed to the club in advance of the NFL draft, all because, of course, the prank call to Shedeur Sanders, which Ulbrich's son was involved in. Here's more from Ulbrich, who spoke today.
My actions of not protecting confidential data were inexcusable. My son's actions were absolutely inexcusable. And for that, we are both deeply sorry. The NFL has taken action, and I fully respect the punishment. It's hard because those people should be celebrated in these moments, and they probably weren't as much as they should have been.
Louis, there's so many different conversations that have happened around this. I think we all agree that what happened was unacceptable. But I guess to push it forward, how is this still happening? How is there not a way to control this a little bit better, Lou?
You know, Laura, I mean, I don't really know if there is a way. Well, one of the ways in which you can control this kind of thing in Jeff's specific case is for him to be more careful as far as who has access to his own personal computer. And make sure that, I guess, even people who are his own, immediate family don't have access to it, and they can't even see it. Although, look, I mean, to be quite honest with you, if I was in that same situation as Jeff Ulbrich in particular, since that's the one we're talking about and the one that's getting most of the coverage, the last thing I would expect is for my son, who understands my own journey, one, as a player, two, as an assistant coach, three, over top of it all, as his father, the last thing I would expect would be for him to violate that kind of like familial trust and then try to use that information to kind of just, play a joke on someone in one of the most important days of their lives. So I don't really, look, I feel bad for Jeff Ulbrich, quite honestly. Look, obviously he could have done maybe a better job at protecting that information, but at the same time, he shouldn't be the one who's up there having the answer for those actions right there, or rather what took place. His son at 21 years old should be up there having the answer for that, because those are the kind of things that I think as a family, as a father with a son, you would trust that he would understand that this is something that is to be respected, not something that is to be trivialized or diminished in any kind of way for the sake of you like having some fun and trying to like play a prank on someone. It really is out of line, out of touch. I think overall, obviously the NFL probably is now, and teams in particular now are going to really, really safeguard these numbers, these individual numbers of the potential prospects, and only have very few have access to it, like namely an owner, a head coach, and the general manager, and that's about it. Because otherwise, these are the kind of things that you run the risk of happening, and they're just unacceptable. They really are.
We also found out today that Abdul Carter was another victim of a prank call. So, again, Louis, very well said there. Just got to clean that up. Can't happen. Let's get to this related to the draft. Matt Miller releasing his top 100 picks today on ESPN.com. He evaluated all of the players taken